Alright, reinforcing inflatable toys. This video will be a basic tutorial of how to reinforce various pool toys. First, I will show the reinforcing of simple pinch seam toys, followed by some inverse seams, and finally the trouble spots of lap welded toys. The method I show here relies predominantly on the fact that the glue I am using has a small percent of thermoplastic suspended in it that is left behind when all the solvents evaporate. This leaves a thin, well-bonded layer of plastic to act as a reinforcing agent. So here I have a brand new, just out of the box, Intex whale. First, I inflate the whale so that it is just able to hold its shape, but not so tight it starts to become firm. I clean all the seams I intend to reinforce with a few wipes with an alcohol-soaked swab, followed by a swipe with a clean, dry swab. You don't want to let the alcohol dry on the toy. Doing so won't harm the toy, but it won't clean it either. Depending on the toy, alcohol may or may not affect the paint. You will want to check to see if the paint is affected in a hidden region first, before ruining your toy and messing up the paint. Next, using a blunt dispensing needle and an industrial syringe, I draw up a barrel full of vinyl cement. Once full, I flip the needle over and give it a few taps to get most of the air bubbles to the top, and press the plunger to push out the air. Once I am satisfied with the glue in the syringe barrel, I move on to applying it to the toy. With a slow, steady hand and a light, constant pressure on the plunger, I deposit glue along the pinch seam. The Intex whale has very little frill sticking out from the pinch seam, making this relatively easy. For other toys, it may be wise to trim down the seam frill or run a bead of glue down either side of the frill, whichever you feel is easier. Now I show myself applying glue to several of the other seams on this whale. Each time I perform the cleaning step first, but have omitted them from the video for time's sake. Here I demonstrate running a bead of glue down each side of the pinch seam frill. And there you have it, about 3 hours later, and the glue has formed a nice, smooth, inconspicuous reinforcing patch. Okay, let's shift gears. This is a blue pouncing dragon that has some weak leg joints. I intend to reinforce them. This toy was dirtier than the brand new whale, so I am wiping it down with a wet towel, followed by a dry towel, before moving on to the alcohol and cotton swabs. The footage of this dragon leg was actually my first attempt at reinforcing any toy, so I took the extra step and masked off the region I didn't want to accidentally get glue on. I have found that the glue is much easier to control than I had originally thought, and forego the tape masking for simplicity's sake on later reinforcements. In the same manner as before, I prepare the glue and apply it. On this dragon, I applied glue in the valley of the seam on all 4 legs, and then waited a few hours before applying another coat. To get the underside of the leg seams, I flipped the toy upside down and propped it with some furniture, alternating between applying glue to the top of each joint and the bottom of each joint. Overall, I repeated this until all the legs had 4 full coats of glue. Use your discretion to decide how many coats is enough. Amusingly, the factory paint smears are more noticeable than the glue line. I also demonstrate the same reinforcing technique, but with the foot of my standing tiger. Alright, here are some more examples. This is the final result on the leg of a Propitious Cloud Dragon inflatable. Here is a pesky claw of the blue pouncing dragon. The ear is no longer a trouble point on my dragon. The saddle region on this dragon also got a very thin bead of reinforcement. Next are several pictures of an inflatable world hyena. I reinforced the leg joints with a relatively liberal single pass, and the body with a conservative pass along all of the pinch seams. Well, that concludes what I think is the simplest and most efficient way to reinforce a toy. I have in the works another video where I use vinyl strips for a much more substantial reinforcement. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos. And feel free to comment below if you have any suggestions on how you might reinforce your own toy.